friends, my name is Joss and welcome back to Squibbles Reads. Today we are going to be doing my December 2015 TBR. First of all, before we get started, I am going to say a huge thank you to my friend Elena. She gave me a shout out on her channel, which was just so sweet of her. I'm going to leave a link to her channel in the down bar below. The first book on my December TBR is Illuminae by Amie Kaufman and Kristoff, and I already read it because we are like 4 days into December or something, and it was so good, you guys. Oh my gosh, it is literally my favoriteest book now in the whole wide world. I don't even read sci-fi. It's my favorite book. It's got like love, it's got humor, it's got dirty flirting, it's got people dying, it's got people escaping, it's got big robots and big ships and everything that you could ever possibly want in a book. I cannot say enough good things about Illuminae, so go ahead and read Illuminae. All the hype is true. Up next on my TBR, we have the second book in the Creme Midnight series by Galbraith. It is called The Silkworm. I really liked the first book called The Cuckoo's Calling, which I discussed in my November wrap-up. The second book also centers around Creme Midnight. He is a private investigator. This time he is investigating the disappearance and murder of a weird, quirky, eccentric, kind of famous writer. I really enjoyed the first book, so I'm really excited to jump to the second one. The next book that I want to read in December is Carry On by Rowell. I read Fangirl a couple months ago and I really enjoyed it. On Black Friday, which was a couple weeks ago, my boyfriend and I, we went to Barnes & Noble. We were literally the only people waiting outside at opening time at Barnes & Noble. Right when the doors opened, this other girl walked in and then both of us like barreled up the escalator for no reason because there was no one else there. And we went immediately to the section that contained the signed books by the authors who wrote them. I found this copy of Carry On and I was just like, oh my gosh, the dust jackets are all creased, what am I gonna do? And this girl was like, you have to look in the back. And I was like, oh. So I found a really beautiful copy of Carry On, which is signed by Rowell. Here's her signature right here. Oh, I'm so excited. Carry On is basically, if you haven't heard about it, it's like the fan fiction of Simon Snow that Kath wrote in Fangirl, except it is the fan fiction story. So it is like a fantasy story. And the next book that I plan on reading in December is actually a book that I started in November, except I really want to start it over again. It is Creme Midnight by Maas, the second book in the Throne of Glass series. I started this book when I was on a plane ride. I was sitting in the window seat and then the middle seat was empty and then there was a man in the aisle seat. And the man in the aisle seat, while I was reading my book, proceeded to get very intoxicated. And this man is the type of person who, when he gets intoxicated, talks very loudly, even though he's only within like 2 feet of me. So I was like sitting here trying to read my book, and here he is like yelling in my ear, and I was just like, dude, I just want to read about Kale. I just want to read about Kale, shut up! So there he was yelling. Throughout like the first 25% of the book, I basically had like no concentration, and I have very little memory of what actually happened, so I'm going to start it over again in December. The rest of the books in my TBR are actually going to be in my library haul. The thing about the library that's really great is that it actually makes you read, because the books that you take out, you eventually are going to have to return them. So you can't just be like, oh, I'll put it on my January TBR, I'll put it on my February TBR, I'll put it on my March TBR, aka I probably will not get around to it until like 2020. The rest of the books that I'm going to read in December are in that haul, so I'm going to link that in the down bar below. So that is it for my December TBR. If you guys have any comments, questions, or anything else, please leave me a comment down below. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!